Hello guys, this is Hexagon Zero, and welcome to another episode of Multiplayer Mondays. Alrighty then, so I've got another Battlefield 4 gameplay here, and spoiler alert, we do end up losing, but it's a pretty close game, and I think I did pretty well on it. I can't remember the actual score, but we're about to find out. Anyway, so this gameplay has really a lot of everything. I mean, it's got some sniper gameplay, quite a bit actually. I think it's my main class for this entire thing. It's got some tank gameplay, as you're seeing right here. And it's got some... here I stupidly fire on an active protection tank. It's me. But I do get the kill system. And then... it's got some of the droppable weapons, or the pick-upable weapons in the game. I managed to grab one of those when I'm over at C Point, I believe it's. C Point, and here I try and smash through. Anyway, a little bit of backstory in this round. I play Battlefield, and whenever I get this good feeling, and here I'm trying not to crash into that truck, because that'll probably explode it, and probably do damage to me. Whenever I get a good feeling about a round, I will start recording. And this one, the good feeling happened to be two helicopters with tank shells shoved up their butts. So, yeah, I just killed two helicopters, and I was waiting for the hit marker there, didn't see one, so I thought, well, do this. So I just killed two helicopters, and I believe I end up getting a third. Now, how do I do this? Well, it's actually fairly easy. Helicopters have to run up in a firing line. See this guy here? He's a attack chopper, runs at me perfectly in a straight line. They also have to go over you. Then they try and turn around. That's the stupid part. They will try and turn around. All you have to do is rotate your cannon and blast them out of the sky. And there I try and use a staff shell to take him out, but I don't get to. But this little bird is actually a little bit smarter. Yeah, because it stays above my firing radius, but it does get taken out by, I believe, a jet or something else. Either way. So essentially me in a tank, and I saw a couple of guys jump out of there, and they're on that roof, and they'll come into play later, because I believe one of them was a recon, and he dropped a spawn beacon. Anyway, this episode, I decided to not do any editing on it, and partially that's because, it's like really late at night, and I still need to record Freedom Cry and Assassin's Creed 4, and I have to be up early tomorrow, so, yay. Let's see. What do I have to talk about here? The tank is essentially, I'm sitting in this position because I know this is basically right outside their spawn and their fail fire right here. Completely misjudged the tank shell velocity. Anyway, I started getting blasted here because their tanks have started to pile up. They've got an LAV over there, there's something behind it I can't see in the tiny little window, but anyway, it's quite big. And I know there's a guy off to my right, so I thought, you know what, maybe I can save it. No, not really, too many lock-ons. And I'm about to get hit by something. I don't bother to check what it is, I just end up sprinting out of there. And then, sadly, my tank blows up. But anyway, I'm using the M40A5 here with canted iron sights and the ACOG sight and a straight pull bolt. This is essentially my quick scoping, or no scoping, or I'm going to put as many bullets downrange as I can class. And here, I know there's another guy right here. Because I saw him on the minimap, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe I heard him. Anyway, so I'm in this little room. There's these two teammates here, and these guys actually are pretty good. Anyway, I peek around this corner, and remember those guys that landed on the roof? Yeah, this is them. Anyway, so I pull off a quick headshot there. That was incredibly lucky. Normally I'm not that accurate. Anyway, those guys on the roof have managed to plant a spawn beacon, and now their entire team or squad is spawning in right there. And a really good strategy I discovered in Operation Locker. I ended up hitting him once, and then I hit him again, and he comes back around the corner and tosses a grenade. A really good strategy I discovered in Operation Locker is if you can get behind enemy lines, and then I get shot in the back right about here. Anyway, if you can get behind enemy lines and you have your team spawn in you, then have your one of your teammates switch teams to another team, then have that team spawn in there, and you can get multiple teams behind enemy lines. It's a little bit of cheaty tactics, and I get revived here, thankfully. Always wait a split second before you get revived, just because before you accept the revive. because there can be problems. Anyway, I see the grenade toss come up, and I go up to check it out to see if I can still snipe them, and then I discover a nest, and I miss, and I miss, and I don't even bother firing. And I get a hit marker there, but none to kill. And I throw a grenade, just in case they try and get back in. They don't. He comes around the corner, I die. End story. Then this guy runs over here, jumps out. No, he doesn't, he goes up. No, yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go. There he goes, and then this guy follows him, and eventually he dies. Anyway, Operation Locker, that is kind of a cheaty strategy, but you can do it, because it's in the game currently. So I spawn in on D? Is this D? Yeah, it's D. I spawn in the D flag. There's a couple guys being killed, and there's this tank here. So I think I can sneak up behind it and C4 it, but it drives away before I can. And it ends up being taken out in just half a second anyway. So right now we're sitting on the burn, but there's nothing much going on. I can't see any enemies, so that means they're probably above me, because I've got two teammates on the bottom floor. Or it's that LAV. It's that LAV. And I missed a shot there completely. It would have been a headshot, I think. The bullet drop. Nice. Get distracted by a fire extinguisher. I see this guy, and I'm like, you know what? No scope. And I see this guy, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna miss you entirely and have my teammate kill you. And I see this guy running over here. Don't bother to chase him, because I can see my other teammate running around crazily over there. And I see this guy. Miss. Dead. Yeah. That was a pretty good shot before, though, you know. No scope, that M408-5. Anyway. I try and spawn back in to give him a little bit of help, my fellow teammate, and then he dies, just as I'm about to double-click. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Our E is being capped, but more importantly, the C flag is being capped. Now, in this round, we didn't have the commander. The enemy team had a commander, but we didn't. And the C flag on this map provides you with a gunship, not a cruise missile, a gunship. Anyway, so I'm trying to protect C flag, because I know if they get the gunship, they're just going to rain fire down on us, and if we can't use it, then they can't use it. At least that's my mentality, and I'm thinking I can snipe guys, but they're moving too fast and too far away. I fire off a pop shot just in case, but no. So essentially, I know there's guys here, because I just saw it was burning a little bit ago, and there's a whole bunch of LAVs on the opposite shore, which is kind of strange, considering it's right by our spawn. You would think that a couple guys would just run up behind them and C4 them, or shoot them with our grenades or something. But no, we don't. Another curious thing that I've noticed, not a lot of people go for the pick-upable weapons, and special weapons are... I get distracted by a butterfly there. Yeah, I know, that's kind of cliche. Not a lot of people go for the special weapons. That's because either they don't feel like they could adequately use them, or they're too focused on ranking up their own guns. And I figure, you know what? I'm gonna use as many of them as possible. If nobody else is using them, they're just sitting there with everybody else is running past, or even if they aren't, I'm gonna try and use them. Why? Because I like using them and they're a lot of fun. Except for that one that fires multiple rockets. That one kills me almost every time. Anyway, I see this guy. He flies away. Cool tip. The safest place to be when you're facing off against a helicopter, below it. If it's doing a firing run straight at you, do not go to the Prometheus School of Acting. Anyway, so I pick up this gun. It's the mid rifle, but it's a super long range one, and I don't realize right now that I've got the scope all the way in, because I've got my tack on, because I was just using candid iron sights, because it carries over between each weapon, which I find rather stupid, but you know what? Dice can't be expected to keep track of anything. So, everything. So I've got this gun, and I'm figuring out the extensions here. I don't ever really bother zeroing, because I know my scopes pretty well, or at least I hope I know my scopes pretty well. And I see this LAV, I drop down, Anyway, getting back to the helicopter thing, best place to be underneath it, because if it's doing a firing run, it's not going to be able to look down without crashing. Same thing works for a jet, just get below it. Here I'm testing out to see if it's an anti-vehicle, it is not, anyway. Again, that can always prove bad, because it could be not hitting you yet, and you could just be running directly into enemy fire, which in case, turn left or right. Took too many shots to kill that guy there, but... the attack boat is just sitting out there, so I figure I might be able to peg one of the guys on the back, and I'm trying to figure out the scope. Trying to figure it out, not doing too hot on that part. So I'm camping these rocks because I know we've got to hold C at all costs, and I don't mind using dirty tactics to hold C. And again, I try for the pop shot and I just get the vehicle hit. Even though this isn't an anti-vehicle, sometimes it works on less armored targets. For example, the attack boat. Fire off a shot there, don't get him. The sniper's looking at me. Fire off a shot again, do get him. I think I hit his foot or his leg or something. Either way, I was misjudging the distance entirely. I see this guy. I double shot him. Well, I don't double shot him. I hit him in the first shot and then I fire off a second just in case I missed. And then I call in for a medic. Because I've got low health, and there are hopefully going to be some medics on C. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of kills or do much with this gun. I believe I got 2 kills, 3 kills already? Even then. But helicopters, man. There's been a lot of complaints that helicopters aren't very powerful, and yet 50% of the time, I'm not even kidding, 50% of the time, what kills me is helicopters. I play on Conquest Large. That's my game mode. I like that game mode. It's simple. I actually do manage to snag that guy. I thought I didn't. Anyway, they kill me about 50% of the time. Why? Because typically I'm on top of something or I'm alone. And helicopters love it when you're alone and you're a recon and you can't do crap. So, essentially I just have to pray that they get low so I can maybe tap them with my C4. But that's really all I got. Anyway, so I get fed up with this helicopter eventually. Because it's using rounds, and then eventually it kills me. Thank you. I needed that. Such long after shot screens. The C flag's still being capped due to that helicopter, so I figure I don't really want to be over there. It's really open. I kind of want to go for D. Maybe I could spawn in on this guy, or maybe this guy. No. Let's go back to C. Let's change this up a little bit. Why did I choose the Stinger? Well, the helicopter's already quite close. It's quite close to ground, and it dies. Story of my life. So now I'm stuck with something that can't do crap against attack boats. And I'm basically the only guy on the island, maybe a couple others. And then the mother of all pushes happens from the enemy team. And when I say the mother of all pushes, I mean about 3. Now I think a counter UAV was flying over our position right there because for some reason I could not lock on to this stealth jet. And I know it's a stealth jet, and the name kind of implies the fact that you wouldn't be able to lock onto it, but still. Or maybe it's got like stealth mode. Even that just increases the time, it doesn't completely disable the time. Or maybe it was too far away. That was what I was thinking before, but if you pay attention closely, whenever I pull out the launcher, I have no rocket in the chamber. So I pull it out, I'm trying to lock on, do nothing. So I keep on swapping it out, going like, come on, why can't I lock on to anything? There's gotta be a counter UAV over us or something. EMP UAV over us or something. And eventually I figure it out, and I can tell you, I felt quite stupid at the time. That guy tries to straw that boat, I think. I don't think he succeeds. Anyway, I take over behind this rock again, trying to keep the rock between the attack boat and me, because I know the attack boat would just be able to pulverize me with explosive rounds, and I take a peek just to kind of spot it, let the commander, well, there is no commander, let my teammates know that it's out there, and possibly a helicopter or a jet can come out and take it out, which they don't that way. So that guy's got his launcher out, and he's trying to hit something off in the distance, and then I figure it out right here. Yeah. I figure out I hadn't reloaded yet, and now it works. And that guy stands right in front of me with the exhaust tube pointed right at my face. So, that's something I try and avoid doing, because people will search for better cover. It doesn't matter if there's someone already there. They will stand in front of you and squat. So, slight problems. Battlefield 4 problems. Anyways, this attack boat is really starting to get on my nerves. It's just sitting out there, bombarding us from long range. And I can't do crap about it. I've got a Stinger, which does nothing versus land or water vehicles. And I'm essentially sitting on a dead point. C is kind of a neutral flag. It typically is one of the most contested, and one of the most valued, but it's not a continuous push like you see on most flags. It's kind of like in waves, which is kind of ironic considering it's an island. There's waves. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, it starts hitting capped again. This is the mother of all pushes right here. What I don't see is the around about 5 guys sitting on the opposite side of the island. What I do see is the burn going kind of steady, going up and down. And that tells me that they're kind of close to cutting out. And I do that because I sense there's a guy behind me. There is. I just turned too soon. I thought he was trying to knife me from behind or something like that. I'm not sure how, because I recorded this gameplay a long time ago. I'm not sure how I remembered. But anyway, there's this LAV tank, and I circle it with my mouse there. It's just sitting there doing nothing. It could have pushed up, because not a lot of people know, but when you're in an LAV, even if you're sitting not in the main gunner or the secondary gunner seat, you can fire a gun. It's like a tiny little cannon that's positioned on the sides. And I believe the 3rd and 4th guys have it. Anyway, you can get in those seats and fire a tiny little gun at people, and it does kill them rather quickly, but not as quickly as I would like sometimes. Anyway, there's this rib boat, and I'm considering taking it out to sea, which I do, because I figure C's being capped, and then so I gotta go help out, otherwise I get to get the gunship. I do not consider the fact that we could have gone for D. And now I can't remember the map commander here, because every point gives the commander a different advantage. I start getting shot here, so I pull over rather nicely, and start heading kind of into E. But every point gives the commander a different thing, but that isn't exactly true, because there are 2 points, I believe, on Conquest Large, which do nothing for the commander. And when I'm the commander, I always say or type to my team, just basically ignore those points. I don't really need them. They're either too close to the enemy or they're superficial. Now, that is kind of counterintuitive, because Conquest is supposed to be able to hold as many points as possible, because if you hold the majority of the points, the enemy team bleeds tickets. But failed shooting. If I hadn't, then he would have died. Anyway, I get a little pissed off at this guy, because I think it's a recon, and he's running the shotgun build, and he's got a spawn beacon. So his entire mission is essentially to sit on E and spawn as many guys as he can to try and screw with our team. I don't like him. Why? Because he's about to kill me again. Or at least one of his spawnees. So I'm looking for him here, and I don't realize he has a spawn beacon. And I'm looking for him, and some of you might have already seen him. But he's like right there. I don't even get a shot off, and I don't even zoom out to reload. But he kills me again. So now, I'm a little bit cheesed off. My game hasn't been going so well. In the beginning, I had killed 3 helicopters with a tank, but no go there. So I go, you know what? I'm gonna spawn in this guy, huck a grenade in there, and die. From another shotgun. I'm not sure how they ranked up the shotguns. The entire game is basically slanted against shotguns right now, unless you're in Operation Locker. But anyway, right about now, I'm quite furious. So I figure, you know, I'm gonna bring an LAV right on top of their heads. And this actually reminds me, there's sometimes AAs, the mobile anti-aircraft, that just kind of sit in your spawn and fire at distant airborne targets. A lot of people have a problem with that. I can't see why. I mean, it's a mobile AA. The Vulcan cannons are just going to be able to wreck the enemy team, especially if they're air vehicles, and it's quite easy to predict, or this is quite easy for me to predict, where enemies or where mobile stuff will be. So I'm not sure why people complain about the AAs moving up. It can't really do much against infantry, although it does have Zuni rockets, which do a fair damage to infantry, but not as much. So I try and crack through here, because I know there's a guy on the other side. I try and steamroll him and roadkill, but no dice. Pun intended. And I roll right over him, because I think he either ducks or someone else kills him. Either way, I'm checking in here, trying to look for a spawn beacon just in case they have one, or they've just been spawning off of each other. And I try and fit through there, but unfortunately this tank is quite big, and I can't load my fat button around there. So I do some Austin Powers driving, and eventually make it through here, get around the corner, sort of. Start turning, sort of. See the jet, try and take a quick shot at it, don't. Helicopter explodes in front of me. And I know at least one of them is still here, or at least I feel like one of them is still here. They aren't. I'm just reading my instincts wrong. So eventually I leave. I'm trying to go for D. So keep driving, and it's very unwise to drive along the roads, because that's like the thing that people mine a lot. You know, M14 at mines. M15, sorry, M15 at mines. So I pull up into D, try and take D out. I run over a car. The burn is still going. I think it's an even burn. And I'm not sure why I have the IRNV scope optic attached here, but I do. So I'm getting shot from something above. I'm not quite sure what it is. But I know this guy is on the roof, and eventually I fire enough shots to kill this guy right here. No, I thought I killed him. Oh well. I guess the scope does have its disadvantages, but it's not really that good. Except there are no night maps out in Battlefield 4 yet, so there's not really much point for an IRNV scope. This guy ghosts behind me and stabs me with a trench knife. Anyway, we've got the majority of the points now, except everything except D, and I don't really care about A, because they can keep A for all I'm concerned. So I spawn in on my teammate here. The gunner position is actually one of my more favorite positions in basically any vehicle, except for the Little Bird helicopters, or the rib boat main gunner, or the attack boat main secondary gunners. Because on that one you're completely exposed to everything, and that's what jets or helicopters or enemies will shoot for, because you can get more kills that way. And if you miss, you're probably just going to hit the boat anyway. So this tank is actually being kind of smart, sitting out just a little bit back, and I get promoted there, so promoted! Silver battle pack, amazing. Start moving on. This tank is getting destroyed because he's basically sitting out in the open. Before he was holding back, and that was a good idea, and now he realizes he should have either pushed forward or pulled his ass back. Probably up and over the hill I'm about to climb. So I go looking for the tank to use it as cover. I'm scrambling around here looking for cover because I'm being shot at, but I've got no cover. So eventually I bunny hop my way back over to this hill. I'm trying to check out E here, see if there's a vehicle I can get into and drive it, possibly. But not really that much.
Looks like there's an enemy tank on the north of your
It's happening over at E. Sorry, I keep yawning. Like I said, it's really late at night. So I figure, you know what, I got a sniper. I'm gonna try and shoot some people at distance. Guess what, there's nobody at a distance because they're all downstairs defending from the other infantry, which are currently below and cap D. Whoops. This is this guy. He gets in the vehicle, and I didn't expect to be able to do this, but somehow he pulls us up and over the ledge, and we keep on driving. And we do a nice little bit of air, land. I see this guy running after him. I try and get the kill. Emphasis on try. Oh, I do! Oh, wow. I think that's my first kill with that vehicle. Anyway, the round's coming to an end. It's a really close round. We got one ticket left, and then we end up losing it, and then they have 58, which is pretty good for a flood zone. So I end off the round, I type the GG, do all that stuff. So overall, it was a pretty good round, some pretty good moments, but it shows that there's still some balancing and some other stuff that needs to be done with the game currently. So yeah, I would like to thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, favorite, comment, and all that stuff. And I will show you guys a score screen before signing out. For some reason I was encountering some lag here, so I got lag. For some reason, the sniper rifle decided to inch along. Got all that, got promoted, checked all that out, showing you guys my ribbons, and all of that stuff. I will see you guys next time. This is the Hexagon Zero, signing out.